So just a brief introduction to him. I think I did circulate his brief bio, but to tell you, he is a prolific writer. Writer in the sense not journal articles and not just econ. Half of them are in AJE and others, and plus he writes the economic letters, economic inquiry, review of international economics, applied economics. Name it, he is extremely prolific writer. So I thought we should get some flavor of what he is doing right now, the students. He has many students who are professors in US universities, so I think in that sense philanthropic. So I think the floor is yours. You decide how you want to do it. You can take questions, if you have any questions for later on. Please. Welcome.
I would like to take this opportunity to thank Professor Judges Theodore for inviting me to come out to give a lecture, both class lecture and also the seminar. I'm very happy and impressed with the IIM. I have always been IIM even when I was a student, but this is the first time I'm coming here to visit. It's truly very impressive campus and it's well known internationally. Okay, so it's an honor to come over and give a seminar. Okay. In terms of giving seminar, yesterday I gave class lectures. Most of my class lecture seminars are like interactions rather than me lecturing all the time. So if you have any questions, you are welcome to ask. You do not have to wait until the end. Okay, feel free to ask any questions. Okay. So this study is one of the chapters with my student Blessing. Okay. Blessing is from Nigeria, one of my better students. Okay. Currently she is completing her PhD dissertation. She will be working with me for 1 more year. I'm very good student. Okay. And nowadays with Trump intervening with a lot of trade policies, I thought this is a good topic to work on and also do research and make a presentation. Okay, so the seminar is organized. Okay. First I'll give a brief introduction to the topic, then delineate the objectives, and then go over the theoretical model and the analysis. Theoretical model is fairly lengthy and extensive. That's several 2 years ago. Okay, I'm trying to summarize in about 10 minutes. It's not going to do justice, but I'll do the best I can. Then go to the empirical analysis. Okay, do present the econometric results and also the data and sources. Okay, then we can discuss the results and conclude the presentations. All right. So agriculture trade, but in any any countries or any commodity are influenced by quite a few factors. Okay. First of all, the Ricardian theory of comparative advantage, okay, and also Heckscher-Ohlin theory of factor endowments. Okay. We'll go over them detail in a minute. Okay. Then domestic farm policies, right? The price support policies, input support policies, income support policies. Okay. Then trade policies like quota, tariff, those kind of policies. And also gravity factors like the distance between the countries, the size of the country, size of the population, all those things determine trade. Okay. All these factors are common in industrial goods also.
Why do you call it bilateral?
Bilateral means
export import or?
Yeah, they say India exporting rice to say Japan. Okay. So just between pair of countries and a particular commodity. Okay. Here we are looking at more than 200 commodities and about 150 countries. Okay. So trade of any particular commodity between any pair of countries. So bilateral means between pair of countries. Okay. So if you take rice, India exporting Japan, India exporting Australia, or India importing soybeans from some Brazil. Okay. So any commodities between pair of countries. Does it make sense? Okay. So all these factors are important in industrial goods also, but these two are highly prominent in agricultural area. Okay, because of a lot of government interventions in trade policies and domestic policies, they are very unique to agricultural area. Okay. So let's go over each of these factors. Okay. So what's Ricardian theory? Ricardian theory says a country will export a commodity in which it has a comparative advantage. Okay. And the comparative advantage is determined by many factors. Of course, the technology. Okay. Technology that's influenced by R&D and the extension. Okay. and also institutional factors. Institutional factors like transparency, okay, corruption, bribery, political stability, business climate, okay, incentive to export, okay, all those factors influence the competitive advantage. So we try to capture the effect of these variables on trade. Then Heckscher-Ohlin factor proportion theory, it says a country will export those goods in which it uses the abundant factor intensively. Okay. For example, India may export agricultural commodities because it has abundant labor and maybe abundant land. Okay. So those factors capture the Heckscher-Ohlin advantage. Okay. Then domestic farm policies like the price support policies, income support, input subsidies, okay, and also any government transfers, giving money transfer to poor family, maybe election time, all those things influence the production and the exports. Okay. Gravity factors. Okay. Gravity factors are like the distance between para countries. In general, trade between US and India is somewhat limited because they are the opposite end of the spectrum. On the other hand, trade between US and Mexico or Canada is more frequent because of closer proximity. Okay? And also exported GDP. If countries are very large in GDP, say producing a lot of wheat, it's going to export wheat. Okay? And imported GDP. If countries are very rich, like European countries, they have enough income. If they want to buy commodities from other countries, they can buy. Okay? And also exchange rate plays a key role in influencing the trade. The trade policies and trade agreements are highly critical to facilitate trade. Okay? Import restrictions like tariffs, import quotas, non-tariff measures like country of origin rule or labeling requirements, those things can also influence the trade. Okay? Similarly, export policy, export tax, export quotas, voluntary export restraints. Okay? Right now I'm reading newspaper, India is asking Japan to, US is asking India to limit your steel exports. Okay, that's kind of voluntary export restraints. Okay? And also export promoting policies, export promoting policies like export subsidies, okay? Export loan credits, okay? They also influence trade. Okay? Then import augmentation policies like giving import subsidies to import. India probably imports a lot of crude oil and it subsidizes the imports to make the product cheaper. Okay? So with that kind of background, what we want to envision in this study is to model the agricultural trade of any particular commodity between a pair of countries, okay, and then implement that theoretical model, okay, to quantify the effects of these various factors, the Ricardian factors, the Heckscher-Ohlin factors, domestic policies, trade policies, gravity factors, look at the effect of those policies on trade and quantify the effects. Okay. All right. So now let's go on to the theoretical model. Okay. In the theoretical model, first we want to model the consumption side, then the production side, then bring the consumption production related to trade and look at the factors that are impacting the trade. Okay. So in the consumption side, okay, consumer maximizes the utility, okay, utility and it's a function of several goods, okay, goods going from 0 to 1. That means there's a large number of goods in that range, okay, between 0 and 1. You have an infinite number of commodities that consumers consume, okay, and this CS utility function with elastic substitution sigma. The elastic substitution captures between the two commodities how the consumers are substituted. If sigma is very large, there is a large substitution between the commodities, and if sigma is very low, then substitution is very limited. Okay?
This is the representative consumer?
It's a representative consumer, exactly.
World citizen? Or
Oh, yes, a particular country, all are aggregated to one representative consumer. Okay, yeah, that's a good point. Okay, and The budget constraint is price times quantity. Again, sum of the price times quantity over infinite number of commodities. Okay, and the expenditure has to be equal to your income of that consumer. Okay, so if we maximize the utility subject to constraint and we get the demand function for the particular commodity. Again, going from there to there that's a couple of weeks work. Okay, deriving all the demand function, that's not very straightforward. Okay. Okay. And the demand function, quantity demand is function of its own price with elastic substitution, and that's the income, and this is the aggregate price index of all the commodities, because after all, quantity demand is relative function of relative prices, own price versus other commodity price, and the other commodity prices are all captured in this aggregate price index. The aggregate price index is nothing but the weighted average of all the price index. Okay, so that's the demand function. Okay, then now we are going to the producer problem. Okay, producer is maximizing the profit. Profit is revenue minus cost. Okay, so what's revenue? Revenue is the price times quantity, and S is the government subsidy. Okay, that's why we are capturing the domestic policies. Okay, and so given that total revenue, now the cost is given by this term. This is the output of commodity Q. I is country I, okay, and N is country N. Commodity going from country I to country N. Okay, that's where the bilateral trade comes from. Okay, from country I to country N. Okay, and this is for all country I, all country N. So meaning that the commodity K, okay, even though it's for country I to country N, country I has 150 exporting countries, country N has, what is 130 importing countries. Okay, and these are the costs, the unit cost. This is the production cost. Okay, and production cost for country I for commodity K. DIN is the trade cost. Trade cost could be transport cost. The distance longer, then transport cost higher. Okay, or it could be a trade policy cost like tariffs, okay, or quota converted to equal tariff, okay, and they are given in D. Okay, then this is Z is the productivity parameter. Productivity parameter means in a particular country, I for commodity K, how much is the productivity? Okay, and that captures the Ricardian trade theory. Okay, and the Heckscher-Ohlin trade theory is captured by this term C, cost of production. Okay, so if a country has a large amount of labor, large amount of land, the cost of production is going to be cheaper. Okay, capture the Heckscher-Ohlin comparative advantage, Ricardian comparative advantage, trade cost, transfer cost. Okay, and we look at is Ricardian comparative advantage. We look at the next slide also. It's influenced by all the institutional factors like the corruption, bribery, transparency, business climate, and all those things. Okay, all right. So if we maximize the profit function with respect to production, we get the pricing rule. The pricing rule basically says price of the commodity for exporting from I to N depends on the cost of production, depends on the trade cost, transportation cost, productivity, and government subsidy. Okay. For example, if government gives a lot of government subsidy, then the cost is going to be lower, the price is going to be lower. That means this country has a lot more potential to export. All right, and if cost of production is higher, then price is going to be higher, the country is going to export less. Okay, and similarly, if the productivity is higher, okay, like it has a lot of technologies, easy processing and exporting facilities, then the productivity is going to be higher, meaning that cost is lower, the price is lower, the country has more potential to export. Okay, and so all these factors, the Ricardian factor, domestic policies, trade transport cost, Heckscher-Ohlin endowment factors, they all capture the impact on price that will determine the exports. Okay.
How do you capture the productivity? Is a normalized one? So
We are going to spend more time on productivity. Okay, we'll look at the next slide. Okay, so these are the very good definitions I went over. Okay, so let's look at the productivity. Okay, we are modeling the productivity. Okay, as a function of several variables. Okay, this is country fixed effect. Okay, you have many countries. Some countries are free marketers, they have better technology, so they have advantage. And some countries are laggards, not enough technologies, okay, they are going to fall behind. That's a country effect. Okay? And also industry effect. Okay? Some country may have a better climate to produce, say, rice. Okay? And some countries in other climate have better production facilities for wheat. Okay? So those kind of industry effect, okay? Industry effects are captured there. Okay? Then okay, we have country characteristics and industry characteristics. This is where all the institutional factors come in. Okay? They say export facilities, the corruption, the bribery, okay? Lack of technology, okay? Lack of R&D, lack of agricultural industries. All those factors can be captured in between L and Y. Okay? And this U is the not mu but U is the random component, idiosyncratic component unique to a particular commodity in a particular country. Okay. So this equation captures the effect of all the factors on productivity. Okay. Does that answer your question, Satish? Okay. All right. So moving on. Okay. Since this product is a function of this random term, we need to model the random term. That's what makes this model very rich. Okay. Alright, so if you go back to the price control, okay, take the z to this side, it down here, okay, and that's what this term, this is basically coming from the price control, okay, and okay, taking log of this, okay, so that log of z, the log s coming over here plus log of s equal to log of this cost minus log of the price, okay. So we are taking the log of the equation. Okay. Then once we take this log of this equation, let's solve for p. Okay. That log of p equal to this term minus these two terms. Okay. All the cost. Okay. Minus okay. This one. Okay. And the minus z, and z is captured from the previous equation here. So we take the z, okay, and substitute over there to get this equation. Okay. So constantly, again, if you look at okay, the price of country I exporting to country N, okay, depends on okay, your cost of production, trade cost, country effect, industry effect, all the institutional factors, and the subsidy, okay, and then the error term. Okay. For example, if the country is giving a lot of subsidies, it's a negative sign, the price is going to be lower, so there's more opportunity to export. Okay. And similarly, okay, if the cost of production, trade costs are higher, then price is going to be higher, okay, meaning that it has less potential to export. Okay. And if the country has free of okay, corruption and better technologies, better institutional law and order, then that's a good news, going to make the prices lower, that country has greater potential to export. Okay. Then from this, we are going to solve for this error term. Basically, the error term is function of all other variables, moving the error term to the left-hand side and the price to the other side. We are going to do that because the error term okay, captures all the idiosyncratic factors related to the particular commodity, the particular interest rate. Okay. That error term is distributed by this full state distribution. Okay. And full state distribution has two parameters, t and theta. Okay. The t determines the absolute advantage, meaning that country has a better technology, it's going to be more productive. Okay. Whereas the theta term determines the comparative advantage, okay, meaning that a particular country has many commodities producing, there's a wide variation in production. Some commodities are very efficient, some commodities are very less efficient. So consequently, there's a dispersion of commodities with different productivity, and that's going to help improve the competitive advantage. Meaning that a country may get a competitive advantage in some commodities, lower competitive advantage in other commodities. Okay? So these two parameters, theta and T, determines the absolute advantage and competitive advantage. Okay? And again, if you recall that mu is depends on the all other institutional factors. Those institutional factors influence the T and theta. Okay?
You separately will be able to estimate T and theta, absolute and
Here we are deriving theoretic model, then at the end we are estimating a trade equations, and the trade equations captures all the factors, the Ricardian factors, the Heckscher-Ohlin factors, domestic policy, trade policies. They indirectly come through T and theta, but T and theta itself we are not estimating directly.
Are you using these terms comparative and competitive advantage interchangeably?
Competitive advantage is different from competitive advantage. Competitive advantage is mainly through technology. Competitive advantage could be through domestic policies, trade policies, those kind of things.
If you use quotas terminology of competitive advantage, R&D, business systems, and the marketing.
Yes.
So I think you're bringing some of those elements here. Also, you keep saying technology, R&D, and all that.
Yeah.
So that is
So technology R&D may influence the competitive advantage, but the competitive advantage can be influenced by government policies, like giving free subsidies to.
No, my larger point is, should we not talk of competitive advantage this time instead of
In fact, the trade policy, domestic policies are the ones capturing the competitive advantage. Okay, and the other hand, the technology endowments capture the competitive advantage. Yeah, good part. Okay, all right. So, if you look at the two parameters, when T is 1 versus T is 4, and the distribution is higher for T is 4, meaning that the mean of the distribution is higher than this, meaning that a country with higher T has higher absolute advantage. Okay? And whereas theta, if you look at theta, in the case of theta, theta is 1.5 has this dispersion bigger, and whereas theta 3.5 has the smaller dispersion. And lower the theta, greater the dispersion, and greater the competitive advantage. When you have more dispersion, that means you are producing range of commodities that are less in competitive advantage and higher in competitive advantage. So when you trade with other commodities, you have more opportunities to export the commodity where you have underwhelmed competitive advantage and import the commodity where you have lower competitive advantage.
higher absolute advantage will be there when you have few commodities.
Yeah, few commodities, and that limits the competitive advantage. But on the other hand, when dispersion is higher, you have greater opportunities for competitive advantage. So then we solve the model, and going from the beginning model to this equation, it's several months ago. It's mathematically solved several months ago. So let's look at this equation. This is a theoretical model coming from equation coming from theoretical model. Let's look at that calculate. So this says export from country I to N of commodity K, depends on all these factors. And we look at these things. This is the cost of production, trade cost, transport cost, tariff, things like that, to the power minus theta. So that is positive. When you have minus there, when these costs are higher, the exports from I to N is lower, right? And similarly, subsidy has positive theta, and when the subsidy is higher, the positive theta, the export going to be higher, And this element captures all the institutional factors and everything else, If there's better transferences, better facilitation for exports, all those things are going to positively influence the trade, And this xn captures the amount of the GDP, the importing country. If the importing country is very large, greater appetite for consumption, they are going to import more from country I. Okay? Then QI is the amount of production of the commodity K in country I. So if country I produces lot of commodity, it has more potential to export. Okay? So these factors are unique to country I and country N. Okay? But when you are involved in trade, you are not just looking at country I, country N, but also there are other countries. They are also competing in the market. So you need to look at their factors, and their factors are given in the denominator. This typo. This would say summation m going from n to uppercase n. So this basically should be going from m1 to n. Okay, and basically it captures all these factors for other end countries also, okay? Because other countries' policies also impact the trade between country I and country N. For example, if country M gives subsidy for the commodities yes, okay, then this higher the amount, it's the denominator. That means country I is going to export less to country I, okay? Because country M is giving subsidy to its producer, it's going to indirectly hinder the export of country I to country I. Okay? Similarly, okay, the trade policies, prices, and the institutional factors, all these factors of all the end countries going to interfere with the trade from country I to country I. Okay. Does that make sense? Okay. So this is the trade flow equation we are going to estimate. Again, we are not going to estimate just one commodity just per country. We are going to estimate more than 200 commodities and per 150 countries in the world. Okay? So that's a long list of data to collect and to estimate. Okay? So this is the theoretical equations, and to estimate that we are going to empirically estimate the equation. Okay? The dependent variable is the bilateral agricultural trade between pair of countries. Could be India exporting wheat to Japan, or US exporting soybeans to China, okay, like that. Okay? So that's a dependent variable. Independent variables are the farm subsidies, okay? Then trade agreements, tariffs, that's a trade policies, okay? And also the factor endowments, excluding comparative advantage, and the technology factors influence the bribery, corruption, business regulations, legal enforcement. They are all institutional factors. Okay? Then the gravity factors are the GDP of the importing country, exporting country, and distance, those kind of things. Okay? All these factors are captured in this equation. Okay? So these are the specification of the empirical model. Okay? I have presented it verbally. Okay? Then the data sources come from numerous places. Okay? The commodity trade from the United Nations, World Trade Organization, the USDA Economic Research Service, Professor also know the service like the ICR type of agency that collects the data. Okay? OECD, Organization of Economic and Cooperation Development database, Food and Agricultural Organization, the trade policies coming from particular study. Okay? These two sources give the trade policies, domestic policies for agricultural commodities. Okay? The economic freedom report, okay, that gives out of the institutional variables. Okay? Then the governance indicator, okay, comes from this worldwide indicator. Okay? So these are the data sources. Okay? Then we have to collect the data. We run the regression. We run the regressions. Okay? Okay. Again, the different variables, the bilateral trade from country I to country N of numerous commodities. Okay? Let's look at these variables and their estimation coefficients closely. Okay? This number itself may not be making a lot of sense, but the sign and the significance are very important. Okay. To make this number more meaningful, we need to put them in an elasticity term, then you can tell the magnitude of the impact. Okay. So let's look at the domestic support. If a country is giving lot of subsidies, that's going to enhance the production and going to increase the exports. Okay. So constantly it has the positive sign and very significant. Okay. Any coefficient this Z statistics greater than 2 is highly significant. Okay. And then trade policies. Okay. Tariff, the countries putting importing countries putting tariff, then the trade flow from exporting country to that importing country is going to be low, given by the negative side. Okay. The trade agreements. If countries are engaging in lot of free trade agreements, then it has potential to export more. Okay. And consequently, okay, trade agreements to have a positive sign. Okay. So these are the domestic policies and trade policies. This is the endowment, Heckscher-Ohlin endowment. It's a basic relation of like land to labor and other resources. If a country has abundant resource of agricultural production factors, then it's going to export more. Okay? Then institutional factors. These three are institutional factors: bribery, corruption. Okay? That's going to have a negative sign on the export. That means you are hindering production, hindering trade. Okay? If you bribe this guy, that guy, you are going to tired of doing all those things. That's going to limit your exports. Okay? Business regulations. Okay? Too many government interference. Okay? You need to pay this tax, that tax. Instead of facilitating the production exports, if you are putting lot of barriers, that's going to limit your exports. Okay? So business regulations also going to have negative effect. Okay? Legal enforcement of conduct. There's a good law and order, sales, buying and selling are legally enforced, then that's facilitating the transaction, and consequently that's going to have positive effect on exports. Okay? Importing country, it's a large country, like big countries have a lot of money to import, okay? Then that's going to have a positive effect on trade. Okay? Exporting countries producing lot of the commodity, wheat, rice, whatever the commodities, exporting more, okay? Then that country is going to export more. Okay? Finally, distance. If the distance is too far away, the transport cost is higher. Okay? Consequently, you are going to export less. Okay? So these are the empirical estimations, okay, results that capture the all the theoretical aspect of the model. Okay? So in any research, you develop the theoretical model, you collect the data. When you start estimating, if you want to go north, your estimation exactly go south. Okay? You don't have the right sign, you don't have the significance. Okay? But this is one of the studies where we are pleasantly surprised, where the theoretical results can produce the underpinnings of the empirical results produces the underpinnings of the theoretical model. Okay? And also, if you look at these Z statistics, okay, the magnitude and the signs are exactly right signs, and the magnitudes are highly significant, indicating the strong validity of the empirical model to substantiate the theoretical results. Okay? So that's a summary of the theoretical results. Okay? Then to conclude, okay, for a country to export, of course, you need to have a comparative advantage, you need to have a factor endowments that are highly suitable, you need to have a trade policy, domestic policy, moving toward free trade, okay, all those factors influence, okay, and also your technologies, institutional factors, less interference by government, less barriers, okay, and gravity factors, all those factors do impact the trade. Okay. So that's what in summary to conclude the paper that what we have done. Okay. So it took about 35 minutes. Okay. So if you like more time for question and answer, you are welcome to ask.
You said your estimation is too good to be true.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Sometimes you have outliers so that you can explain those outliers. But
yeah. We never, I get doing research for last 40 years. Okay. This is the first time I got something that did not cause a lot of stress. Yeah.
But how did you capture, first of all, the data sources are so huge, different.
Yeah.
So how did you make them consistent? Because in terms of time, in terms of measurement.
Yes, that's a good question. Okay, and time periods like we went from 96 to 2014. Okay, that's a very long period. Okay, then once we set the period, we go to different sources to collect the data on trade, on transport costs, trade policies, domestic policies, GDP, everything we collect from different sources to suit that time period. Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah,
How
okay.
many countries?
We estimated about 140 countries, okay, about 150 commodities. Yeah. I shall put that in slides, okay, to give you a better idea.
Okay, what sort of trade agreements was one thing that positively impacted?
Yes, exactly. So if you look at the trade, two countries, say India and Europe, okay, we see if there are any trade policies. There's of course the WTO policies, then there could be a bilateral trade agreement. We try to capture those policies. Does it make sense?
Different data sources.
Yeah, different from different sources. We take that from the multilateral trade agreement, regional trade agreement, bilateral trade agreement, all those simple factors. Yeah.
So how did you define the farm support? How did you
Yeah, that's a good part. Okay. There's a study. I think let's go back to data source. This study, okay, says nominal rate of assistance. Okay. For each commodity, they look at how much the price support, how much the input subsidy, and all those policies. Then they weighted by commodity production, all those things. They construct an index for each commodity, each country, how much is the domestic support. Okay. So that we use that. That's a fairly well-known study. Okay. Yeah.
So that includes the trade distorting.
That's the trade distortions come under different parts of the trade policies. Okay, this is mainly on domestic support. Yeah, so trade policies captured a different variable. Yeah.
The equation you showed is a representative average number, or because you must have got for each combination bilateral one.
Yes.
These
Okay.
are different equation, right?
Yeah. This one. Okay. So your different variable is okay. Say wheat export from India to Japan, one variable. The next observation is okay, wheat export from China to say Taiwan, next variable like that, the order. Okay. So in terms of observation is 150 times bilateral countries times number of commodities, very large. Yeah, very large. Yeah. Okay. Any other questions?
And variable on ease of business. I think
Yes.
few variables similar to that, right?
Yeah,
Ease of doing business. How did you capture that one?
There's a transparency index.
The
Okay.
last two reports, no? The governance and.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Exactly. Okay. So. Okay. These two give those kind of variables. They have many transparency index. Okay. We selected variables that are suitable for our study. Yeah. Yeah. That's so the data collection is a very huge task. Very huge. Developing theoretical models is several, almost 1 year work, and data collection is under 6 months of work. Any other questions?
Sir, were you able to capture commodity-specific variables?
Yes.
Some of this may be common for all commodities.
Yeah, good point. Yes. Okay. Let's go to the productive. Yeah, productive variables. Say there are country-specific variables and commodity-specific variables, and also instrument factors. There are unique to commodities. And when we construct the variables, we took into account of all those cases.
So this is at aggregate level.
Yes.
You cannot look at individual country specific one can go down and.
There are different variables, country specific, commodity specific. Yeah, not aggregate. It's not like India is not exports. It's India's export of wheat to one country. Okay, India's export wheat to another country like that. Yeah, it's commodity specific. Any other questions? Okay. Thank you for coming to seminar. Okay.
All right, thank you very much, thanks for coming, good, you got something out of this, very good.
I do recommend a few young remarks to you. Yes.
All right, thank you very much, thanks for coming.